June 15, 2025, began like any other peaceful morning in Georgetown, Kentucky, a town where neighbors greet each other and life moves at a gentle pace. But on this day, everything changed in an instant. The Toyota plant, which had been the economic heart and lifeblood of the town for nearly 40 years, delivered shocking news. It would stop producing the Lexus ES 350 sedan, a model that had become a symbol of local pride. Over 1,500 jobs would be lost, sending shockwaves through the community and leaving families uncertain about their futures. For many workers, this factory was more than just a job. It was a source of pride, stability, and a sense of identity that spanned generations. The news felt like a betrayal of a legacy that began decades ago, when Toyota made Georgetown its first U.S. home and promised opportunity. Local businesses, from family-owned diners to auto parts suppliers, braced for impact as the town's economic ecosystem teetered on the edge. The ripple effect was immediate and deeply felt. The plant's closure wasn't just about lost paychecks, it threatened the very fabric of Georgetown itself, putting the town's future in jeopardy. As the sun set that evening, uncertainty and worry hung over every household, casting a shadow over family dinners and quiet conversations. The question on everyone's mind was simple, yet daunting. What happens now? How would Georgetown move forward from this? The town's identity, once so closely intertwined with Toyota's success, was suddenly in doubt, leaving residents searching for answers. The shock was real, and for the first time in decades the future felt fragile, uncertain, and frightening for many. The familiar hum of the factory had always meant security and hope. Now, its silence was a stark reminder of what could be lost forever. Georgetown faced a reckoning it never expected, standing at a crossroads that would define its next chapter. To truly grasp the depth of Georgetown's loss, you have to look back at the powerful bond between this town and Toyota. You have to understand Toyota's long and transformative history in Kentucky, a story that began decades ago and shaped the very identity of the region. In 1986, Toyota transformed rolling farmland into a manufacturing powerhouse, bringing thousands of stable, well-paying jobs to a community that had never seen anything like it before. The plant lifted countless families into the middle class, providing opportunities and sparking economic growth across the entire region. Roads were paved, schools expanded, and small businesses flourished, all thanks to Toyota's steady presence and investment in the area. The company became a model corporate citizen, investing generously in local charities, supporting education, and sponsoring community events that brought people together. Generations of Kentuckians worked side by side, building Camrys, Avalons, and the Lexus ES with pride, passing down skills and stories from parent to child. The plant was more than just a workplace, it was a community anchor, a place where friendships formed and lives were intertwined. That's why the Lexus line shutdown hit so hard, sending shockwaves through families and neighborhoods. It wasn't just a business decision, it felt deeply personal, like a family member in crisis, leaving many uncertain about what the future would hold. The plant had survived recessions, natural disasters, and economic downturns, always bouncing back and giving hope to the community. But this time, the threat was different. Global forces and shifting trade winds beyond anyone's control loomed large. The first crack had appeared in what once seemed unbreakable, a symbol of uncertainty for everyone. Georgetown's trust in its future was shaken, and the sense of security that Toyota once provided began to fade. The town's prosperity, built on Toyota's promise and partnership, now faced its greatest test yet, leaving everyone to wonder what comes next. The Lexus ES shutdown didn't happen in isolation. Years of trade wars and tariffs had driven up costs for Toyota's U.S. operations. The just-in-time supply chain, once a strength, became a liability as tariffs hit imported parts. Building the ES in Kentucky became more expensive than importing it from Japan. The very policies meant to protect American jobs made them unsustainable. Toyota faced a tough choice: absorb costs, raise prices, or move production. They chose to consolidate ES production in Japan, a decision driven by global economics, not local performance. Unpredictable U.S. trade policy made long-term planning nearly impossible. The shutdown became a cautionary tale. Trade wars can have unintended, deeply human consequences. For Georgetown, global politics had become painfully personal. The lesson stability matters as much as strength. For Sarah Jenkins, a quality control inspector who had dedicated years to her job, the news was crushing and unexpected. The factory had been more than just a workplace. It was a second home, a source of pride, and a foundation for her family's future. "This job was my life," she said, her voice trembling with emotion as she recalled the friendships and sense of purpose she found on the factory floor. "We built the best cars, and now I don't know what's next." The silence of the halted assembly line was deafening, a stark reminder of what had been lost. Her story echoed across the plant. Hundreds faced the loss of purpose and security, their routines and livelihoods upended overnight. Local businesses like Mike's Grill felt the pain too, losing regulars and laying off staff. The ripple effect was immediate, touching every corner of the community. Suppliers scrambled to survive as their main customer vanished overnight, leaving warehouses eerily quiet and futures uncertain. Families who once planned for the future now worried about making ends meet, forced to make tough choices about spending and saving. The psychological toll was real. Stress, anxiety, and uncertainty spread through the community, affecting both young and old. Mental health services saw a spike in calls as more people reached out for help coping with the sudden changes and emotional strain. For young people, the promise of a Toyota job was gone, forcing them to rethink their futures and consider paths they'd never imagined. High school counselors reported students questioning manufacturing careers for the first time, unsure if the opportunities their parents had would ever return. The shutdown forced Georgetown to confront hard questions about its dependence on a single employer, sparking urgent debates about the town's future. Could the town reinvent itself, or would it be defined by this loss? Residents gathered to search for answers and new possibilities. The pain was immediate, but so was the need for a new vision. Leaders and citizens alike began to rally, determined to find a way forward. The community's resilience would be tested as never before, as neighbors leaned on each other and worked together to rebuild hope. Georgetown's story became a warning and a call to adapt, reminding everyone that change, though painful, can also spark new beginnings. To understand Toyota's move, look to Huntsville, Alabama. There, a new Mazda Toyota plant opened in 2021, built for flexibility and rapid change. Unlike Georgetown's legacy lines, Huntsville can quickly switch between models and adapt to market shifts. It produces popular SUVs and is ready for electric vehicles, whatever the future demands. The contrast is stark. Georgetown's plant, optimized for sedans, couldn't pivot as easily. When tariffs made the ES unprofitable, the lack of flexibility sealed its fate. The industry is moving toward adaptable multi-model factories. Huntsville represents that future. Georgetown, the challenges of the past. The lesson is clear: adaptability is survival in modern manufacturing. Legacy plants everywhere face the same crossroads. The Georgetown shutdown sparked a political firestorm in Washington. Tariff supporters called it necessary for American strength, while critics saw it as a self-inflicted wound. Lawmakers demanded answers. How could a policy meant to save jobs cost 1/500 in Kentucky? Toyota, usually neutral, spoke out about the need for stable trade policy. The company stressed its commitment to U.S. manufacturing, but warned that unpredictability hurts investment. The debate shifted from slogans to real questions. How do we protect jobs without hurting competitiveness? Georgetown's workers put a human face on abstract policy. The fallout forced Washington to confront the real-world impact of its decisions. The story became a symbol of the stakes in America's economic future. Policy, it turns out, is personal. Despite the blow, Toyota isn't leaving Georgetown. It's pivoting. The plant still builds Camrys and RAV4 hybrids, keeping over 7,000 jobs. Toyota is investing billions in U.S. electrification, including a new battery plant in North Carolina. Parts of Georgetown are being retooled for hybrid and electric vehicle components. For laid-off workers, Toyota offers buyouts and retraining, working with local agencies to find new opportunities. The company's message is clear: this is transformation, not abandonment. The Lexus shutdown is part of a global realignment, not a retreat. Toyota is betting on high-volume models and the EV future. Georgetown's story is one of change, not defeat. The company's roots in Kentucky remain deep, even as it adapts. The future will look different, but it's not over. Georgetown's experience offers hard-won lessons for U.S. manufacturing. First, stable, predictable policy is essential for investment and growth. Trade volatility can cripple even the strongest factories. Second, the workforce must be adaptable and continuously trained. Lifelong learning is now a necessity, not a luxury. Third, over-reliance on a single employer is risky. Economic diversification builds resilience. Communities must attract a range of industries and foster innovation. Finally, proactive investment in new sectors, like green energy and advanced tech, is vital. The future belongs to regions that embrace change, not those that wait for it. Georgetown's pain is a warning, but also a blueprint for renewal. The next chapter of American manufacturing will be written by those who adapt. The lesson: build the future. Don't wait for it. The quieted Georgetown plant is not an epitaph, it's a call to action. The path forward demands cooperation from government, business, and workers alike. Government must craft smart, stable industrial policy and invest in infrastructure and strategic sectors. Corporations need to invest in people, not just machines, and communicate openly about change. Workers and unions must embrace lifelong learning and flexibility. The partnership between Toyota and Georgetown, though tested, remains a model for community engagement. This is a moment for renewed collaboration, labor, management, and policymakers working together. The American workers' resilience and ingenuity are still unmatched. Georgetown's struggle can inspire a national renewal. The future of U.S. manufacturing depends on unity, adaptability, and vision. The road ahead is tough, but the story isn't over. It's just beginning.